Okay, Brittany's in. James is in. Get the other phone out for our Cleburne bunch. Okay, I don't know if y'all saw the video that Kyle and our group of helpers, Santa's helpers, took yesterday of our 3,200 square foot warehouse that is wall-to-wall bikes. In fact, the next 250 that we know are coming, we won't be able to put them all in there. So the museum and detail area will be slammed with bikes stacked to the ceiling, I guess. I can't give you an accurate count, but I can tell you with the Fort Worth Fire Department, Cops for Kids, the 4 unions at Lockheed, we're going to get real close to 1,200. I got it figured right now that we're a little over 900. And there's people still bringing stuff, which is great. So this will be the biggest giveaway that I've ever been involved with, and it's due to all of y'all making your donations, going shopping, telling people about it, companies, different organizations. It's very touching for me, because for years, up until the internet got started, it was all me, the detail customers, and the car dealers, both new and used. You can't ever forget those guys, men and ladies, men and women that owned those dealerships, that they didn't have to do any of that. The Jack Williams, Charlie Hillards, Dubshaw Ford, the McDavid brothers, Century Chevrolet, Bill McKay, Bill Adams, Longhorn Dodge, all of the used car guys, Texas Motors Ford, the McKinney brothers, the Sides brothers, J.C. Fletcher, a good friend of mine, also owned Richelieu Bar and Grill. Up until just a few months ago, his daughter was on our group and she passed. But every year, come September, they'd say, "Tell Larry I'm giving bikes. He doesn't need to harass me." And if I harassed people, I'm sorry, but it's so important to me that I just get caught up in it. So that's a good thing, though. Going into this year, we've given 18,430 bikes exactly. So if we do the 1,200, that's 19,630 bikes. That'll put us real close to 20,000 bikes. That's a lot of bikes. Y'all see that video of a 3,200 square foot building with right at 900 bikes in it. It's full, wall to wall. So anyway, it's a good time. Detail.
Morning.
Hey Scott, is it already 7? Yeah, or close.
But yeah.
Yeah, we just got on here. So did you see that picture I posted yesterday of the bikes in that 3,200 square foot warehouse?
Yeah, that looked good.
Yeah, I mean, it's wall to wall. And we've got for sure another 250 coming, so we'll have to find other we'll stack them up in here. I sent over all of the helmets. The 1,000 helmets are already there. I've got over 100 in here. So I'm going to start bagging up toys and stuff here. So if you're going out to buy stuff for Larry's kids, buy toys. Don't buy helmets, don't buy bikes, buy toys. We need a lot of toys. So the Silver Sisters brought by a carload of toys. On a downside, our friends, fellow members, Lynn and Earl Freeman had sent a bunch of toys through Amazon that were delivered last Wednesday to the big office. Well, there was nobody there, so they left them there. So yesterday, Monday, Lindsay wasn't there, our comptroller. Yesterday, I called her and I said, hey, there's supposed to be 10 toys that were delivered on Wednesday. Do you know if anybody got them and put them in or whatever? She said, no, I hadn't heard anything about it. There's no toys here. So then, about an hour later, Lindsay called me back and said, wait a minute, there's a lady that just stuck her head in the door and she's got an open box with a couple of toys in it. And I said, that's the Freeman's donation from the Hill Country. And so anyway, I'm trying to ask Lynn to see what the timestamp was, and then we're going to run our cameras over there at that office and see if we can find the culprits. I wish to hell they would have just took everything. They cherry picked it, and when they get open today, I'm going to go over there and retrieve what's left. But Amazon, I guess they have to leave it though. I mean, I thought about it last night and thought they shouldn't do that, but they don't have any choice. They'll have stuff stacked up. So, and that office front's right there on Rogers Road, so it was easily visible. I don't understand why they didn't take everything. They'll have to deal with that when they meet their higher power, so I don't worry about it. Lynn said, well, it's my fault. I shouldn't have sent it on Wednesday. I said, no. We should live in a better place than have people stealing toys that are going to needy children. But anyway, there's very few sad notes like that I can recall. I remember when I was at 1015 West 7th, which was next to the Firestone. So in that year of 92 or 3, we had, of course, I didn't give away near as many bikes. The Firestone let me use all of that was covered on that Saturday. They didn't even open on that Saturday. They said, hey, we're going to take a day off. Y'all give away bikes. And in fact, 4 or 5 of the employees of that Firestone helped us give away bikes. And so the drive was going. We had TCU football players and firemen. And so we would put the bikes all the way down 7th Street, coming back west. I think that year we had 260 or 270, and that's all it was bikes. No helmets and no toys. There was a few toys people would give. And a group of guys came up in a 1-ton step van down the way about 2 blocks from the corner of 7th and Henderson, and there was 12 bikes down there, and they just threw them in that van. And one of the TCU football players went over there and grabbed that big side mirror, and when they took off, it jerked that mirror off. But luckily, somebody got the license plate number, and of course the van was stolen, stolen out of Carrollton, so we never did recover them. But I mean, they did that in broad daylight while we were giving away bikes. Hey, Melissa, Tom is in. So you take the good with the bad. There's people that do bad things, and like I say, they have to deal with that later on when they meet their maker. Okay. Brittany, she's at. I don't know why I can't keep this stuff straight. I get to moving around in here. I think she's at 9 bikes and 40 toys. Does that sound right to you? I can't. My notes. I'm the most unorganized person. George is in. John's in. Okay, Larry, I'm out. We're out of money, but we have an important question. Okay, that deals with a park where underprivileged. It ties in with your giveaway. I'm not following you. What? It was started in 1919. I know what you're talking about. It's kind of got it's the racial overtones in that. You're talking about the Ruth Lubin camp. Is that what you're talking about? Ruth Lubin? Yes, okay. All right, so after World War II was over, in 1919, 10 bikes and 40 toys. Okay. This is for free, so that's all right. I'm going to try to get her to where she can deliver the stuff. And we'll just keep doing freebies for her because she's given us a ton of stuff. When the war was over, 1918, World War I, everybody was broke. There was no money. There was a lot of underprivileged families in Fort Worth, like everywhere. Fort Worth had started a association that was called Fort Worth Welfare Association. It was formed in 1919. And it was designed to help families that didn't have anything. Now, the director of that organization was F.I. Lubin. He was the director. He had on Lake Worth a cabin and I believe an acre, maybe 2. And so they qualified people and they would let the mother and the children come. And that first year there was 35. I don't know how they got them in that cabin. But now let me tell you, if you start to Google this, there's nobody even today or even 20 years or 30 years ago when I started trying to reach out to historians that have long been gone, there's nobody really knows where that was located on Lake Worth, except that George T. Reynolds, a cattleman and a philanthropist, in 1923, he donated 4 acres. Now, the reason George T. Reynolds is important is that's where Shady Oak Farm, Amon bought several hundred acres and I always wondered about this and I never put 2 and 2 together, with the exception of just a few acres. And I'm thinking that's where Ruth Lubin camp was. So now you got to keep in mind the times, 1919. Women got the right to vote in 1919. Prior to that, 1918, they couldn't even vote. So the way the landscape of the United States, Fort Worth, whatever, the men worked for usually very low wages. The mother's job, the woman, was to stay at home, do the house, keep the kids, yada, yada, yada. So, but Fort Worth saw, and Amon was a big part of it, saw the need to have a recreation camp, so to speak, because people were living in poverty and it just wasn't a very good landscape for families back in those days. So the city of Fort Worth threw in some land and some money. The Lions Club was a big promoter of it, different organizations, and so they actually built more cabins. Like I say, if you know where Shady Oak Farm is, that's Amon's farm. That's his retreat, several hundred acres. In the middle of it, or in the shoreline, and I'm thinking that it's fairly close to what is now Lockheed. I think outside of that slough is where this camp was. So it lasted for into the 20s, and then there was no money for it. So Amon and group decided to disband that location and start the YMCA and WYMCA. That took its place. Now the dark side, next time, if you know we're checking, I'm first turn this, so do what? We need toys, Melinda. Yes, toys. Don't buy helmets or bikes. We need lots of toys. So, now, you can buy bikes if you've already got them. I mean, we're going to need a few more bikes to hit the 1,200, but if you hadn't, I would prefer if you buy toys. Let me see what else she's saying here. Okay. All right, the dark side of Ruth Lubin Camp. On September 8th of 1924, the Ku Klux Klan decided they wanted to throw a big party for underprivileged children. And so they rented out that entire acreage and had all kinds of stuff for the kids. I've never defended the Klan, but I can tell you that they, besides all of the bad things they did try to help children, make us in. So that happened on September 8th of 1924. In fact, I got Scott on there. Let me see. You can go to memories and pull it up in the spyglass. It's kind of a grainy photo, but if I remember correctly. And of course now there it is. Kiddies given outing at Ku Klux Klan camp. That's September 8th of 1924. 100 years and a couple of months ago. So, but that's the story of Ruth Lubin's, and the most important part, Ruth Lubin was not F.I. Lubin's wife. It was his 10-year-old daughter who had died in either late 18 or early 1919. I'm kind of vague on that because history's kind of vague on that. Besides being over 100 years ago, their record keeping and keeping of stuff, information was not what it is today, and things got lost in history. But that the only day that they had the Klan association with it was that one day. And in fact, F.I. Lubin did not approve it, nor did Amon. I think the Klan just showed up out there, but somebody, you'd think somebody had to have approved it, because they came with food and picnic stuff and kind of some gifts for the kids. So, but that happened on September 8th of 1924. That was a good question. I hadn't thought about that place in 100 years. That photo was taken by the press, I believe, or maybe it's a Startlegram. Let me see. I can't tell. I think that's a Star Telegram photo, though. In fact, I can almost tell you for a fact it's a Star Telegram photo. But the press covered it too, I'm sure. There's Jackie. Jackie, do we have any new information about Rainey? It almost killed me to post that picture the other day. We keep her in our prayers, and Gene Dimick, every single day. So it's going to rain all day today. It's supposed to rain tomorrow or Friday or Saturday or something. I'm not sure if we're going to have a lunch club meeting Saturday, because I think that I'm needed with the giveaway. We're going to have a meeting with the Meeting of the Minds. I don't know what the Meeting of the Minds is about. We've got 2 warehouses full of stuff. And the giveaway is Saturday week, 10 days from now. We need lots of volunteers. You need to be there by 6 a.m., Farrington Field. Yesterday, Kyle and I was talking. Some of these bikes need to have the tires aired up. And so Sam McNeese offered to go over to the warehouse and take his pancake air compressor and spend the day over there and air up all the tires. You can't move in there. It's wall-to-wall bikes. There's room for maybe 30 or 40 more bikes, and then it's from one wall to the other. So we're going to have 4 people, probably more than 4, because we'll have to give them a break. On each line, there's going to be 4 lines pumping up tires on ones that are low. Maybe there's not going to be that many. I don't have any idea. When he builds the bikes here, which hadn't been that many this year, 20 or 30, I think, 40, he airs those up. So anyway, we need lots of people there, so that's going to take care of that issue. People are saying we've got 2 kids, 2 grandkids, 3 grandkids. The rule is 1 bike, 1 helmet, and if we have enough toys, 2 toys per vehicle. So that's why I say we need a couple of thousand toys, because the Silver Sisters brought a few hundred here, but we need more. Toys, balls, you can go to 5 and below or 5 and under, whatever that store is, and those soccer balls, footballs, and basketballs are $5 each. Take $100 plus the tax, go over there and get 20 soccer balls or basketballs. The Mattel outlet store is open today. It's at 501 Meacham Boulevard. You've got Ollie's, the only one I know of, but there's several out there across the highway from Westside Cafe. They've got stuff up to 70% off. You've got Walmart, Target, 5 and below, Big Lots, all kinds of places. We've got some people buying books. Bill Palmer kind of started that a few years ago. So that's a good deal. If there's some youngsters in the car, which there will be, or in the family, that'll be a good reading deal. these Hot Wheels radio controlled stuff. Wes Williams called me yesterday. He's been tied up with different things, but he's on the board, and he said, hey, I'm going to run out to Academy and buy $1,000 worth of bikes. And I said, Wes, it'd be better if you bought $1,000 worth of toys. And so he said, well, I don't really know how to shop for that. Buy radio controlled stuff. It's cheap. Cars, all kinds of stuff. So he's going to go out there today or tomorrow and buy $1,000 worth of that. So we need toys is what we need. We've got a 3,200 square foot warehouse that's wall-to-wall bikes. I posted the video of it, and then all of Santa's helpers. So we need people buying toys. It's going to be a great giveaway. 4 lines. I'm thinking we're done by 10:30 at the latest. Going to be a lot of happy kids out there, so don't stop now just because we've got a bunch of bikes. We need donations, we need toys, if you've already bought bikes, bring them. The only thing I fear is that we're going to have 1,200 bikes and 1,100 kids, so we need to spread the word. I've reached out to every west side, south side, east side, north side, to the civic leaders. Hey, we need people. So the event is at Farrington Field, the backside by Billingsley Fieldhouse. The line will start on Friday evening, the 13th. It always does. This is the 38th year. It's now grown into Larry's Kids. For years, it was just the giveaway, Fort Worth Memories giveaway, Larry O'Neill giveaway. So, but we've kind of got a name that's stuck, and that'll mean that it goes on and on and on. So as long as kids are riding bicycles, our group's going to keep helping. And it's all of y'all. It's everybody. It's a community event. We've had help from some of the unlikeliest places. I had 3 elderly ladies pull up in a Uber, and they gave me 3 $5 bills. That's just as important as the person that buys 10 bikes for $1,000. So, and if you just absolutely can't help, pray for us. Our theme on food this year is tamales. Some of our ladies, Sandy Flowers and Sherry Holt and others, at one of our luncheons here the other day, they decided that would be a good deal. You can keep them warm in a styrofoam ice cooler, but it'll keep stuff warm. So stop by a dozen or 2 dozen tamales if you're volunteering. And of course, if there's a restaurant out there, one year Chimmy's brought $200 or $300 worth of food for the volunteers, because once those gates open around 6:30 a.m., it's nonstop. You look up and all you see is more cars. So anyway, I think everything's going to go good. It always does. It's a happy, sad time, but it helps a lot of families. And there's over 230,000 under poverty level families in Tarrant County, and they're all our kids. That's ours. There's lots of groups that give away stuff, and with all of them combined, it's not even a drop in the bucket. We're trying to reach 1,200 out of 230,000. So you can do the math. What was the name of what? It was the Ruth Lubin Camp. I kind of think it's, if you're going across the Lake Worth Bridge, kind of where Casino Park used to be, that shoreline was Amon's Shady Oak Farm. And he bought 700 and something acres from George T. Reynolds, a cattleman estate. But there was 10 acres that he didn't buy, and I always wondered, why didn't he buy all of it? There's something in an air conditioning duct that keeps making a noise. I don't know what it is. I'm listening to it. Anyway, so I think that's the acreage that George T. Reynolds donated to the Fort Worth Welfare Association's Ruth Lubin camp in 1919. The war just ended and there's nobody had any money. Women had just been given the right to vote in 1919. And so they had this camp set up, and like I say, there's nobody. I talked to historians out in Lake Worth 30 years ago, and they didn't know exactly where it was. But it started with one camp, one cabin, and about 4 acres, and it grew into a pretty big operation where in the course of a season, those kids would stay out there 2 weeks at a time. They would have a group of boys, and then the next 2 weeks of that month, they'd have a group of girls. But on September the 8th of 1924, the Klan rented it, or we're not even sure if the Klan rented it. They just probably showed up that day. And they brought a lot of kids and gave away a lot of stuff. I'll show you a picture that was from this was on September 8th, 1924. And from the background, you can't tell. That cabin back there looks huge. So, of course, this thing had been in existence now for 5 years when that photo was taken. And the city couldn't afford to fund it anymore. And then the Lions Club, they were the main supporters. They had a bad turn of finances, so they shut it down still in the 20s. And then they organized the YMCA and WYMCA. So, but as far as a landmark or anything out there at Lake Worth, you're not going to, of course, people, there's houses on it now. It was on the shoreline. But it was right in the middle of Amon's property. So if you're going down, if you're going like I go home, 820 heading north, that exit where the knives are, Quebec, I think is the name of it. There's a group of apartments there. If you look, imagine those apartments aren't there, and that look down to the water, and that's where Amon's Shady Oak Farm was, and still is. So that is kind of across from where Lockheed and everything is now. There's Gene, Terry, Colin. So anyway, we are 10 days away from a huge event. I hope y'all can come and be part of it. It's a great feeling. Like I say, it's a very happy time for families. 1,200 families this year. But it's also a sad time that we as a group of people in a city, the 12th largest city of the United States, we have people that are worrying where their next meal is coming from. So anyway, I'm going to go off. I'll show y'all. You can order these 2024 Christmas ornaments from Scott. Every year he makes a acrylic ornament that has something related to Fort Worth memories. And this year's is our subway car. and it's got a little place there where you put a hook in it for the tree, and it comes in all of these colors. They're $10 each, or if you buy 2 or more, you knock $1 off. The cutoff date is December 14th. So now I'm going to read our sponsors. You can find our sponsors at FortWorthMemories.com or YouTube at Fort Worth Memories. I'm going to start at the other end of the spectrum today. I say I am. Yep, I am. Okay, first one up, Dub Peacocks, A-Bird, AC, and heating. So winter's coming. If you need to get your unit checked, call Dub Peacocks Company. Bert Ladner, Realtors. Wes Williams is associated with that group. Steve Coburn, Coburn's Catering. They still cater all of your events, parties, whatever. They're still on North Main. Richard Carr's nephew, Dickie Carr, he owns Grateful for Your Trees. They pull up big trees, they trim trees, sell firewood, they do it all. That young man is a go-getter. Dickie Carr Sand and Gravel, which is Pat and Richard Carr. They donate to the museum. They donate to they were our first $5,000 donation to Larry's Kids. Express Dent, Dick Regester started that company. Wow, I was still downtown, so 30-something years ago. Eric is the operating partner. Dick lives in Florida now, where the sunshine is. We need a sign company. We had one, but their sponsorship has expired. Fort Worth Lumber, they are sponsors of the group, the museum, and the bike giveaway. Cross Electric, if you need an electrician, Cross Electric is a family-owned company, and they're ready, willing, and able to take care of you. David Hart, Hart Painting. Jenny Stewart has State Farm Insurance, and they are ready to take care of all of your insurance stuff. K Ranch Roofing, their sponsorship is coming up to an end, so we're probably going to need a new roof or two. Old South Pancake House, Rex Benson's company, and he also owns Rex's Bar and Grill, which has not officially opened yet. He's having to jump through hoops for zoning and planning, but it's in the old Macaroni Grill, which is in the same parking lot as Old South. The Optimist Club of Fort Worth, their tree lot is in the front side of Farrington Field, and they do lots of stuff for kids. And they also bring us a tree every year. Passport Getaways. If you're taking a trip, a cruise, whatever, that's the people to call. Charlie Guerin, Railhead Barbecue. Charlie is a sponsor on our group and a huge earner for Larry's Kids, about $15,000 worth. Rains Plumbing, that's another family-owned local business, and they take care of any of your plumbing needs. Like I say, you can find our sponsors at YouTube at Fort Worth Memories or FortWorthMemories.com. Also, Guess the Score is up and running, right, Scott? I guess Scott's still there.
I need to reset it for the next game, but yeah, I'll do that today.
Okay, and because it's Monday night, I think.
Yeah, we got a little bit of time.
I don't know who they play, but it's Monday night. So there's Rex's Bar and Grill. That old Macaroni Grill, he has reconstructed that thing. There's a patio on the back that's going to seat 200 or 300 enclosed. Jerry Schwartz, Schwartz and Hanson Architects. Techstar Pools. They'll build a pool for you, remodel a pool, all of the stuff, the cooking stuff and stuff on around the pool, the rock and all of that. They do all of that. Clay Winstead, Winstead Paint and Body. Greater Fort Worth Area Community Charities, they have brought backs. The Greater Fort Worth Area Association. Cook's Children's Safety Kids will be at the giveaway. Casey Crawl is our Medicare and Medicaid experts, and he's been over several times and told us there's a lot of changes and you're running out of time to do it in too. There's Cook's Children, Safe Kids. We need to keep Renee and Gene Dimick in our prayers besides everybody else on the planet. Woody's in, Steven's in. Those are two of my favorite people. All of y'all are my favorite people, but there comes a time in life where it comes to the end of the road. It's a sad time, but for people that are hurting, it's a relief. It's hard to visualize it that way, but I just don't understand why we can't cure cancer. It tears up a lot of people. The museum needs donations. I can't stress enough, if we don't get some help, I'm going to have to relinquish one of these rooms because it's just too much. Detail business isn't what it's always been, and the rent here is $5,000 a month. So I'm going to be posting links, or you can call me, you can come by, call me and tell me how you want to donate, but I need your help on this. I don't ever ask for much, but surely out of 131,000 active members we can get something. Okay, so we need toys. Here's this is a radio controlled car. They got all kinds of radio controlled stuff. Here's some Glitter Cat headphones. These are $5 each at the Five and Below store, and they come in different colors. The Silver Sisters brought in, I don't know how many, maybe 100 Barbies. So we got to keep going on this thing. Make a donation, and we're going to shop at Mattel, Ollie's, Walmart, Five and Under, Big Lots, Amazon, all of those stores. We shouldn't have, and if you're going to get something shipped in for all the out-of-state and out-of-country members, you might ought to think about maybe just making a donation, because we're running out of time. This is Wednesday, and if you hadn't bought it, we might not be able to get it by next Friday. So, but y'all have done a wonderful job. I can't thank you enough. The kids, thank you. All we try to do is have another day that's a good day. The sun shines for those kids. There's Ginger, there's Charlie. I don't know about the eating deal. I might be tied up here with different stuff. So I'm thinking we're probably going to not have a lunch club meeting, because this Saturday is the Saturday before the giveaway, and I've still got a lot to do here. We're going to have to, one thing, I'm trying to coordinate with the unions, the International Aerospace and Machinists Union at Lockheed, to where we can pick up bikes out there on Saturday. So that would interfere with maybe it might work out. I'm going to get a hold of Paul Black today and see if we can go out there maybe early Saturday morning, 8 or 9 o'clock. That's what time we usually go out there. And then our warehouse is not far from there. Those bikes will go to the warehouse. The Cops for Kids will come here. The fire department will come here. The other 3 unions at Lockheed will come here, and we'll just stack them to the ceiling. So we'll just have to play it by ear. But we definitely need lots of volunteers. If y'all saw that video of that 3,200 square foot warehouse, it's wall-to-wall bikes and helmets. There's 1,000 helmets over there. In this area, there's 100 at least, and toys. But we need more toys. David is in. So we need your help. Also, don't forget the museum needs donations. I don't care what it is, but I gotta have some relief, for I'm not going to go into 2025 scraping every month, just barely getting by. And once the museum's cleared out, we'll start doing tours again. In fact, I charge $10 a tour. If you make a $100 donation, you get lifetime tours at no charge. $100 or more. But I need help. Okay, I'm gonna sign off. Don't forget, grateful for your trees. Dickie Carr, that's Richard Carr's nephew. This guy is ready to go help you with your trees. He can pull out the big ones. He told me he had a truck with a 50-foot boom on it. So keep them in mind, and use all of our sponsors. At least give them the opportunity. If you're needing insurance for your car, at least get a hold of Jenny Stewart's State Farm Insurance to take a bid. Give them the shot, because the money that they spend with Memories helps to keep it open. But we need more sponsors. We need donations. Anyway, Scott, you got and one thing with Scott, if you need a website built or any kind of technical stuff, he works cheaper than the other people. So just message him and he will get back with you. He stays as busy as I do. All right, Scott, you got YouTube. You can shut it off.
Yeah.
Okay, see y'all later. Okay, and I'm going to finish up here. Trey is in.